You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
Hello everyone, it's Camosaurus, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Indoraptor. Now let's get into some background information. This figure is supposed to be the Indoraptor from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And honestly, they've done a really good job on the sculpt of this figure. I think it looks just like the Indoraptor. Because, you know, I don't talk too much about the sculpt unless I have a major problem. It's pretty obvious this guy has an amazing sculpt and looks exactly like the Indoraptor. But without further ado, that's enough background information on this figure and a bit of the sculpt. Let's get into the articulation. Okay, starting off with the tail. The tail here has a small ball joint inside it, allowing for a multitude of different angles you can get this at. Only minor different angles, but I do appreciate this joint. Next point of articulation is right at the base of the tail. There's another ball joint, which can allow you to do a full 360 kind of turn. However, it leans more to this side. If I come over here, it leans more that way than it does that way. Now, that's obviously because the shape of the mold here is making it making the whole figure kind of lean that way. If you see here, that looks more proper than that. So yeah, they've done that for the pose, but I actually really like it still. That's some good articulation, and I think it was definitely needed to give this figure some extra cool points of articulation that do help for a lot of different poses. Moving down into the ankle, here at the ankle there's actually a little joint here which also can swivel, do a full 360, which is probably, you know, that's a broken leg there, but still. And there's a joint here allowing back and forth movement, which means you can get some nice poses and angle the figure's legs a bit more. The next point of articulation is right here at the knee. This is not as good as the articulation in the ankle, but it's still really good. It still has a nice joint, a nice bend at the knee there as you'd expect, and can also do a full 360 turn with the swivel inside it. Next point of articulation is here at the top of the leg. The top of the leg has actually got in and out movement. I don't know if you can see that there, but that's it there, and then in and out movement. So that's actually really cool. And also has a swivel, so you can do some full range of articulation with this leg. That's really nice. And of course, the other leg also has all the same points of articulation as the leg we just looked at. Now here at the wrist, the Indoraptor's wrist can move in and out. It can move in and out. So yeah, that's really cool. Adds for some extra awesome areas of articulation there. The Indoraptor's wrists can also pronate. This isn't logical to real life, but this is what the Indoraptor does in the movie. So you can actually do a full 360 swivel here at the wrist. So that's actually really cool. I like that a lot. It does add for some new unique poses. There's also a joint here at the elbow, so the Indoraptor's arm can bend. And there's a swivel inside there, so the Indoraptor's arm can actually swivel around like that. Can maybe add for some really cool attack kind of motions if you're working with stop motion. That's really, really cool. The final point of articulation in the arm is here at the shoulder, which also has an in and out motion here, much like the legs did. However, it is different, obviously. This is just a joint here. And it can also do a full 360, allowing for some awesome different poses you can get. And just like the legs, the other arm also has the same articulation as this one did. Finally, here at the head, right here at the base of the neck, we have this ball joint, which actually allows for a full range of articulation there. That's really, really nice, and something we don't usually get on dinosaur figures. The next point of articulation is at the top of the neck, right at the base of the head. It's another similar ball joint. It doesn't have the same amount of motion, but still does add a lot of new and unique poses, which is really, really cool. And finally, the last point of articulation on this Indoraptor is the jaw, which has an up and down movement, allowing you to open and close the jaw. Both looks are very cool. It looks awesome closed, and it looks equally awesome open. You can also get some in-between areas. You can just totally put it anywhere along that spectrum there. Choose anywhere along that So yeah, that's really cool. It allows for a lot of different posing capabilities. So yeah, like I said in my past reviews, I think an opening and closing jaw is critical to the articulation of any theropod or carnivorous animal. Now that we've looked at the articulation of this awesome figure, let's get right in to the paint job. Now starting off at the feet, sadly the claws have not been painted. However, this is the one figure I'll give an exception, because the Indoraptor's claws are black, and so is the Indoraptor's skin. So technically speaking, the claws are the right colour, they just haven't been painted that colour, so I'll give them a pass. This is the first figure in the line so far that we've had that actually does have claws that are the colour they're supposed to be. Looking at the skin colour for this entire dinosaur, it's black, and that is very good, very accurate to the movie. However, the Indoraptor skin is a tiny bit greyer than pitch black, to be honest. It's not entirely black, but still, I'm going to give it a pass. It's still really good and is really accurate to the Indoraptor's colour scheme. Moving up to the Indoraptor's famous gold stripe, it starts off as this singular shade of gold, which is really accurate and really cool, looks just like the Indoraptor in the film, and it starts off with small little splodges. I like that detail. Then it slowly moves off into a more thicker colour scheme, where it's less of the normal gold and more of this kind of shinier gold that looks more like something you'd buy, some kind of metal. Then, moving into the neck, it continues to follow the same pattern as the torso, however it gets thinner and thins out much like it does on the tail. Looking at the mouth, we can see the Indoraptor's tongue has been fully painted. This is a detail that I quite like, and so have the sides of the mouth. Very, very nice. However, sadly, the roof of the mouth, although it has the detail there for being painted in a pink colour scheme, it is left black, which is quite sad. And honestly, it wouldn't have taken them much more to paint that. However, that's not much to get over, but it does subtract a little bit from the overall paint scheme. Next, looking at the eye of this figure, the eye has been painted completely red. However, it has been left for a little tiny pupil. Now, I can't remember if the Indoraptor's eyes were actually red. I think they were, but it's still really nice that there is that nice little, very sharp, lizard-like pupil in there, much like the Velociraptors this animal was based on. There's also these small red markings coming out of the eye. I'm not sure what that is. I think it's just a pattern. I don't know if that's accurate to the film or not. I don't think it is, but it's still a nice bit of extra detail that Mattel have gone above and beyond to give us on this figure. Finally, looking at the teeth, these teeth have been painted perfectly. Each tooth has been individually painted with no overlay onto the inside or outside of the mouth, and honestly, a job well done to Mattel. They've done amazing with these teeth and have clearly put a lot of time, effort and attention into painting them well. Now, I've had to go into different lighting to show you this, but there are these small little specks of little plastic in this figure. This is on all the other figures we've seen so far from Fallen Kingdom's toy line. And unlike them, they're all in like black plastic. These are little white dots inside the mold, so clearly they've changed it for the Indoraptor, seeing as it has such a dark skin color. I really like that. That's really cool that they still added it in. They could have easily just not had it because the color was too difficult. But they went to the extra distance to go and actually put them in and change the colour of them. So well done, Mattel. Finally, here's just a little size comparison with the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Wave 2 Velociraptor, the first figure I reviewed in this line of reviews. So yeah, that's just them. They scale really well together, and if you get the blue version of that, it'll go awesome. But anyway guys, time for my final thoughts on this figure. Ultimately, I think this Indoraptor figure is the best figure in the toy line. The articulation is the best articulation I've personally ever seen in a dinosaur toy figure. However, Beast of the Mesozoic probably has it beat. I just don't own any. But from the Fallen Kingdom toy line, the most articulation. It has an amazing sculpt. It's so accurate to the film, except for maybe the front of the face. It's kind of different, but I see what they tried to do. The paint job's stellar. Only some small things here with the eye. I'm not sure if that's accurate with those little bit of things, but they still make it look really cool. And ultimately, I don't think there's, much that's wrong with this figure. And there's so much that's amazing about it. So ultimately, I'm going to give this figure my very first 10 out of 10. A perfect figure. I would definitely recommend it. If you like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, You have to have this, okay? It's not a, oh, you should get it, you could get it. You need to buy this. This has to be in your collection. Now, as I do in every review, here's a scene that I recommend you could probably use this figure to reenact. If you have this figure and you have, like, I don't know, if your sister's got a Barbie house or something, put the Indoraptor in, put it next to a bed, and you can reenact those scenes we had in the trailer. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.